Interesting.
Just game on weekends. For any of you age 25 or older, that probably isn't something you've thought about for a long time. At least that's what it was like for me.
No,
This
I
isn't a
don't wanna.
one-size-fits-all
Why
video.
should I?
This is just something that I've experienced in my own life when it comes to gaming, and maybe there is something in my experience that can be valuable to you. By all means, play to your heart's content. I know not everyone's
what game
experience
is
with
this?
games are the same, but I'm sure there are some similarities. Hopefully you can explore this thought with me, and I'll try my
Returnal.
best to explain my experience in a way
Damn,
that's
he's kinda
relevant to
getting
many
dicked
of
on
you.
right now.
But let me set the scene first. It's a rainy Sunday afternoon in 2007. I was 10 years old and anxiously waiting for my dad to unlock the closet so I could get out my gaming system, the Nintendo 64. I would have 2 hours on that afternoon
great
to
game
play
system.
however many games I wanted, which usually consisted of a mix between Lego Racers, Star Fox, and Madden 99. I was only allowed to play video games for 2 hours every other Sunday, so I spent 4 hours a month
Damn, it kind of sounds like my childhood. I was allowed like 1 hour a week as a kid.
trying to beat my racing game or beating the next boss in the Star Fox game. When the timer went off, I was bummed out. But a few moments later, I was excited. I would just have to wait.
No, as like a kid, when I had like Game Boys and stuff, I could play like, I had a bit of freedom. But when it came to computers as I got older, that shit was locked down. Like, my parents had a password on that shit. Like, I couldn't turn it on unless my parents turned it on. Like, it was only homework only, and then my mom would always be sitting in the back watching to make sure I'm only doing homework. And then when I'm like done with homework, she'd fucking get me to get off,
13 more days before I can beat the next Star Fox boss. It was even something I would mark on the family calendar. While a lot of this enthusiasm can be chalked up to childish priority and whimsical thinking, it was clearly something else. It was novelty. I wasn't able to play games every single day, at least not for the first few years of gaming. How many of you grew up only being able to play on the weekend? Or maybe you could only play video games when friends came over, or only maybe after you finished homework on a Friday. All of those examples have a layer of novelty built in. When I was 10 years old, I had a schedule set by my parents. School,
I used to fake doing homework just to use the PC. Bro, I'd be the same. I would be like, Mom, I have so much homework. And she'd like sit there behind me and watch, and just like keep looking like I was doing lots of homework. And then like eventually it'd like be near dinner time, she'd start getting ready for dinner, and then she gets up to go to the kitchen to start prepping dinner. And then that's when I tab out and yeah.
sports,
And then when mom starts coming back, it's like, oh, yep, still working on the homework,
church and other social events. Video games didn't take up that much of my time, and because of this novelty, I thoroughly looked forward to every other Sunday. I only had 5 or 6 games, and those were in the days of offline
Why don't you
gaming.
just play games every day and still doing okay in school? Oh, because Asian parents don't believe that's possible. They believe if you play video games, you would automatically do badly at school. So they don't believe that. They just like force you to study all the time, and then once in a while you get a break to play video games. They don't even let you have a chance to prove that you can play video games and still do well at school. They just automatically just like think video games are evil.
Matter though, I would constantly replay these titles like the ones I mentioned a few moments ago. When was the last time you thoroughly looked forward to gaming beyond the after-work game session? A lot of people over the last 5 years, including myself, have expressed their frustrations with gaming in the modern era. If it's not microtransactions, it's the content itself. It's either too woke or not woke enough. All of those examples have been discussed at a tiresome degree, and I'll be the first to say that there is merit to those discussions, but all of those things are symptoms of greater issues. I want to establish a baseline.
Okay, which real video gamers are like actually going into a video game and saying this isn't woke enough or this is too woke? Like, what? I feel like those people aren't real gamers. They're just like fucking politicians or like people who care so much more about politics than the actual video games.
Video games for me in 2000.
Gold watchers? Yeah, but they all fucking play classic WoW and shit, bro. They're not real gamers. They're fucking grandpas on fucking wheelchairs.
And 7 weren't something I played every day. It wasn't even a hobby at that point. It was just something fun to do. My interest in gaming didn't extend beyond the console I was playing on. There were no message boards I was a part of, and no
Isn't this
Discord
the game where fuck, I forgot what this game was called. Isn't this a game where like in PvP you can lose all your shit? Yeah, Albion. Yeah.
servers to talk about my favorite games. It was done with my friends down the street when the topic came up. It was just something I did. So when did it all change for me? When did I start playing games more than 4 hours a month? It was right around the time I got on YouTube in 2009. And it's no secret that YouTube and the rise of social media have a massive role.
It's the second my parents closed the door and said goodbye to me my first year in college. I was like, bye, Mom and Dad. Close. League of Legends for 15 hours.
And gaming's universal adoption.
Right before college, barely played games a week. Barely. Had that shit on lock. My parents didn't let me. The second my parents were gone, if my gaming chart, if I had to draw my gaming chart, right? Like, it'd be like this, all right? It'd be like hours, you know? And then, like, this is like the months, right? And let's say, or my age, I should put, right? My age, okay? Through, like, middle school, high school, and then college! Yep. And then up here, and then almost get suspended.
That's like going from drinking soda when you go out to dinner to smoking crack.
And then back up
Holy
after
shit,
I graduated. Yep.
I'm not an internet historian, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but YouTube had a huge effect on my gaming interactions. In 2011, I got an Xbox 360, a PC I could game on, and a lot more time. High school was just right around the corner. The friends I had also had upgraded their systems, and with access to the internet, I found a whole new world. One where people played video games a lot more than I did. I remember looking up how to get better at Halo Reach multiplayer, and slowly spending more time on my Xbox. I met people just like me who wanted to play Halo and improve. Then I started making YouTube videos when I eventually switched to PC gaming full time in late 2011. I got really into the MMORPG genre. This is one of my best times of my young life. I met even more people who shared a passion for gaming that I was just beginning to experience. One of the things I didn't know about
like most people my age, they're like youth when they played MMOs is probably some of the peak gaming that they've ever had.
MMOs at the time was the idea that the game really never ended. I was amazed that I was in a world where I could make my own character and immerse myself in any world I was a part of. To this day, I fondly look back on my favorite MMO. It was where I met a lot of people that would become pillars in my life, and some still are to this day.
Good job, you guys.
He's not wrong, chat. Some of the people I have talked to the longest in my life are people I met from MMOs. You know, like Amon, you see in this chat, I met him over 10 years ago playing MMOs. Right? Like I have old friends online that I still talk to here and there that I met from over 10 years ago as well. So.
There's always going to be people who dismiss these kinds of online relationships as fake or less than, but anyone who has had one of these experiences would know that the opposite is true. Because of these people and the relationships that I had cultivated, I found myself playing every single day. My parents gradually got less restrictive, and eventually it was just a part of my life, the daily grind of dungeons. Even when I branched out and played other games like shooters, I was still...
I almost want to click off this video. He's a Moira player. Credibility of the video just went down to 0.
Playing every day because I was meeting more people. I was either competing for cash prizes or just going up against friends. All of a sudden, I was a gamer. It wasn't merely a title for me.
No, you should not be saying the words "I was a gamer" with Moira gameplay as the B-roll.
It was my whole identity. I think a lot of us can say that at one point or another, this was the first thing we put in our Twitter or Facebook
you play Mercy?
bio.
Listen, I only played Mercy when we needed a healer.
The years 2009 through 2016 were some of my favorite gaming years. It wasn't just because of the online component, it was the interactions I had with my friends outside of the game, from having LAN parties for Halo or just playing split-screen Need for Speed. These are gaming experiences I'll never forget. We all remember the midnight releases at GameStop.
Oh my god,
The social
Apex.
element of gaming was different back then, and I can't quite explain it, it just had a magic to it. In 2015, I started making gaming content on YouTube, and that's when gaming became a little bit more than a hobby. It became something I wanted to share with others online and not just have for myself. This isn't a bad thing, I just wanted to point out my reasons for playing video games gradually shifted as the years went on. YouTube 10 years ago was wildly different. The algorithm didn't have a chokehold on people like it does today. You really could broadcast yourself. You could share your hobby or passion, even with terrible video quality, pacing, and delivery. It didn't matter. People loved watching it. It was really cool coming together as a community through YouTube. I didn't know it at the time, but I was hooked. I wanted to gain tons of subscribers and get into the partner program, which I eventually did, and that made me dig into gaming even more. I understand that for some of you, the YouTube stardom dream was never a key component, but that's what supercharged and propelled me to this theory.
Okay, we've seen him play two characters, Moira and Mercy.
About late 2023, I was making content every few days. I was live streaming and wanting to make videos as much as possible so I could grow the channel. But since 2021, really, I started to—
Nah, come on, this Mercy movement is NPC tier. Where's the super gliding? Like, bro, he's not super jumping, nothing. He's fucking walking around like a fucking NPC.
Lose interest in gaming.
Nah, Chad, there's mechanics to playing Mercy really well, okay? Say what you want.
Figure out why. At first, I had bought into the rage bait that video games are for kids, and I shouldn't be doing that. I should be touching grass or doing other things. Insert whatever mainstream argument against video games here. But for a while, I needed something to justify my growing disinterest in gaming. I've mentioned my journey with removing myself from social media in previous videos, so I won't get into detail in here. But in short, over the last 4 years, I've gradually deleted my social media accounts. This didn't have so much to do with video games as it did with me being tired of all the hyper-connectivity. The moment I deleted the social media accounts, the more I started to enjoy gaming as a whole. We are now more connected than ever before, not just to others.
You know, he's not wrong though, chat. That whole shit we just yapped about, I bet you most of you guys would hate a lot less if you'd fucking just stop reading social media.
Around us, but in gaming. Every minor patch update, every controversy, every expansion. It's
How about
all
you
discussed
quit Twitter too? Bro, my Twitter is like the least fucking like vitriolic like thing ever. What do you mean? My Twitter is like just a personal diary of like what the fuck I'm doing more than anything. And I guess goon posts. You know? I think you know what the saddest part is? Nobody that follows me gives a shit about Uma. My Uma tweets never get any traction. That's the saddest part. Fucking Genshin, Star Rail, Wua, they all do pretty well, but the fucking Uma posts, bro, nobody cares about them, man. It's the saddest fucking thing. Oh wait, this Haru Urara one did well because it's Haru Urara, but like, yeah.
Litigated on the internet now. Everyone has a voice, everyone has a say, and
hop on Overwatch
really
then and
noisy.
show him how
Remember
to play Little Bro, or you know instead of playing slop like me, you actually hop on Borderlands 4 instead of saying Destiny.
Jake has been trying to get me to play Overwatch for like the past 2 weeks, and I've just been saying no because I don't want to get back to that game.
Before you buy, or is it worth playing in 2020X video? And I've made these types of videos myself, and I'm not coming after the people who make these videos. I understand that there's a place for them, especially in a world where every game being multiplayer and always online is mainly what people play. But even still, none of those things should matter. When my parents got me Lego Indiana Jones for the Wii, I didn't care what YouTubers said. I didn't care what the consensus on the game was. And I'd make the argument that when you started your gaming journey, you didn't give a crap either. Why should you? Why don't you play something because you find it enjoyable or interesting? Sure, it can be helpful to go online and figure out how to beat a boss or help solve a puzzle, but I've noticed that gaming content these days centers more around reactions to changes and patches than any actual gaming interest. Like I said before, I understand that people have made careers.
This is why I'm saying, that's why I feel like so many CCs nowadays are like politicians for their game rather than like consumers, you know? It's kind of that feel.
Of making gaming content, so more power to them. You know, go get the bag.
Says you. Actually, I'm not talking about for sponsors. I'm talking about like where, like it's like, all right, let's see if you know this new game coming out is too predatory or like too. It's like, who did that? Like as a kid, when you were about to play a new game, I think gaming started to
suck when it turned from hobby to addiction, no considering.
Right, like when you were about to play a new game for the first time, were you like, what? I feel like so many people nowadays need to like analyze the game so hard before even fucking trying it, you know? Like just try the game. If you like it, you like it, right? Why are there so many nowadays so many people care about so many things outside of the game to determine if they should or shouldn't like the game, which is like so weird. Like just fucking try it out. If you don't fucking like it, then don't play it. If you like it, then play it, right? I don't know.
Clearly a market for that type of content. But in the last year, I've been getting really tired of gaming. I didn't want to log on every day just to do daily quests. I haven't purchased a season pass.
Well, no, I get that because games are expensive. That's why even if you buy products, you want to look at reviews. I get that. But like, that doesn't really make sense because a lot of the games that we're talking about nowadays are free to play, you know? And you can 100% without a fucking cost besides a little bit of time, try the games and see how they are yourself, you know? You legit do that too? Yeah, I do. But like, I still try out like a decent amount of the games that interest me, you know? I only really like don't want to try out games that I know is a genre that I'm not interested in.
A game in about 2 years, and I have no plans to in the future. That wasn't what gaming was about for me, and it probably wasn't what gaming was for most of you either. We could talk all day about the mass corporatization of video games. We've all watched the greed killed gaming or microtransactions must be stopped videos. While all of
that's your job to show us whether these free-to-play games are good or not. We don't need to try it to judge. Well, it's kind of like the whole Do It Night Abyss thing I like kind of crashed out about, where so many people were immediately calling Do It Night Abyss a good game because of its monetization change. Like, why? When did we become those type of people where like we play games based on the monetization method and not the gameplay, right? Like that made no sense to me. Like, people were all of a sudden switching up on Do It Night Abyss because it's not a gacha and because it's, like, completely free to play, right? It's like, suddenly the gameplay becomes good. Like, I still think Do It Night Abyss is probably still going to be a good game, but I don't think a monetization method dictates if a game is fun or not, right? Obviously, it can make it not fun, but it isn't, like, the end-all, be-all.
That is pretty much true across the board. Those issues exist in other industries.
And he only plays healers in all his games.
The easiest way to take back control in this area, at least in my experience, is to just not spend money in-game. You don't need the battle pass. You can still progress through the game by getting better, if that's something that interests you. Nobody forces you to spend your hard-earned money on skins and pay-to-win aspects.
Just like you,
of
what
games.
do you mean I was a tank main on Marvel Rivals?
Limited time, so buying some of these pay-to-win aspects can just make your life easier for the limited game time you have. My advice to you would probably just be find a game that respects your time.
Easier?
Now, don't get me wrong.
Easy, pussy?
Gaming was never a cheap hobby to get into, and it's even more expensive as the years go on. I realized in the last year that I don't want to play video games every single day. I was no longer interested in the way people are expected to play games today. I want to play games on my terms. I want to be excited to boot up a game. So I quit daily gaming. I quit buying in-game items.
I don't really get what he's saying here. Why? What? Who? Don't you always play games on your own terms? It's like, did someone force you to play games?
Play video games almost exclusively with my wife and a handful of friends. One of the greatest times I've had gaming
He's not
in
one
the
of
last
us anymore.
5 years was playing NFL Street on the GameCube with some family members. Everyone sucked at it, but it was fun. It was social. Everyone was laughing and having a good time. It wasn't about the grind of ranks. It wasn't about the need to constantly improve at the game. It was just dumb fun. Like when I was a child, the novelty returned. Gaming is, at best, a hobby for me
He's
now.
not just talking
I no
about
longer
gacha
call
dailies,
myself
chat.
a gamer. It's not that deep or profound. I just remembered.
I think he's just like, I don't know. This discussion is less so about actually playing games. It's more so like he's having like an existential crisis about how he wants to do things more meaningful in his life with his time, which I feel like is just, that's just, yeah, I feel like, because the thing he's saying makes it sound like, he makes it sound like basically anybody who wants to daily wake up and grind ranked, right, is wasting their time or like stuck in the system. But like, not really. Some people just genuinely enjoy climbing and grinding ranked, you know? Is he wrong? I don't think so. No, I think he is wrong. Yes. Because there are people who genuinely want to do that. Like, what's wrong with that? If you want to climb ranked, if you want to grind and get better at a game, what's so wrong with that, you know? I don't know.
What made video games fun to start with.
Yeah, exactly. He's right for his own mentality, right? But I don't think his mentality applies to everybody. You know, his mentality just applies to other people like himself.
Video games just bad now? Has it all been ruined by greed, outrage culture, and poor game design? Honestly,
be like this if
I
you
would
stopped
say
being
yes
competitive in
and
games
no.
and just had
It's
fun.
clear, no matter
Maybe.
what personal beliefs you may have, the game.
I know some people that were insanely competitive in every game they played and then eventually burnt out to the point and then they just like get like jaded about video games, but like, yeah, that's like kind of your own fault.
has become more than just gaming to most people. Some see it as a way for activists to push agendas, and some see it as the clear decline in game quality.
Like for me, when I play games, and I play games all the time, it's because I genuinely want to play that game, right? I'm not like, the way he makes it sound like it's like before he had this epiphany, he like was playing games involuntarily. Like he was being forced or something, but like that doesn't make sense.
In favor of profit, but so many people, including myself, have forgotten one thing. We change. I'll speak for myself. I have changed a lot. In fact, my whole life changed after I got married in 2021.
All right, man, we get it. You're married. Okay. God, we get it. Hypothetically, if there weren't games in your life, how would you recreate? How would I what would I do to like for recreation on like a Saturday? I'd probably go sightseeing, stuff like that. Before I played games as much as I do now, right? There was that lull between college and living alone where I roomed with 2 other roommates. And yeah, I still played games then, but like I had a lot more things I did outside of that. Like we would go as a group rock climbing. We would go as a group bouldering or hiking. We would go as a group, you know, for like every weekly rec soccer league that we were in. Like we'd do that type of stuff. But now I don't know, because I don't really have that many close friends anymore, because I've pretty much moved away from everybody. So what happened to you since? I got back into obsessively playing video games. Yeah. I was a very, very strong yeah, I socialized a lot more back then. Was there a gang fight in your college? No. Fix it? Nah. I like playing video games, man. Like, there's so many games out there that I want to play all the time. Like, I've never ever felt like I didn't have something I wanted to play. Like, so I don't really get what he's on about, but like, maybe it's a different perspective. I think his perspective is something that oftentimes happens when you are starting to settle down. And when you start finding that there's like more things that you want to do to fulfill your time than just video games. Obviously, if you're married, you have a significant other, and you know, even if you even like maybe have a kid, right? These are things that are going to, you want to, you know, put your attention to these things a lot more than a video game, because it's like, think about it this way, right? Why do we play MMOs, right? We play MMOs because they make us feel really good in terms of progression and growing our accounts and stuff like that. But like when you have a family and kids, like now the MMO is, oh, like my family, right? I'm grinding to improve my family. I'm grinding to. It's basically like you go from video gaming grinding to real life grinding, you know? No one plays that genre? Oh, shut up. But you guys know what I mean, you know? Like, at a certain point, your priorities, you finally start to understand where your priorities should be, right? And you just change your grind target to another thing. So, family is the real progress bar. Yeah, your family, your legacy, whatever you want to call it, right? That becomes your new focus. And I think he's probably just experiencing that, where you realize that the amount of time you could be grinding on a video game is something you could do to spend time with your family members and, you know, create core memories that will last you a lifetime, which will probably be more worth at that age or situation than, like, getting another rank in a video game, right? Like, for me, right, I can say, like, probably about 6-ish months ago, I had like a second coming in a sort of way in terms of how I approach like my listen, okay, my relationship with Lily has been like a long drawn out progress bar, right? When I first met Lily, I was a deranged fucking loser, okay? And I thought a relationship, because I never really had a serious relationship before Lily, so I thought a relationship was just, you just spend time with each other when you can, and that's pretty much it. It's like, it became like a daily to hit, you know? It's like, okay, I wake up, you know, I stream, all right? And then I do, that's my daily. And then, okay, I got to spend time with Lily. That's one of my dailies. Okay, done. Set aside that like 2 hours for Lily. And then now I can do other stuff, right? That was me at the beginning, right? Clearly that wasn't working because, you know, shit like the Lost Ark incident happened. And that was really bad, right? And then after that, like, I tried to improve in that regard, but it still hadn't fully clicked with me mentally. And then like about like I'd say 6 to 8 months ago was when it like fully clicked with me in terms of just like what it means to really have a relationship. And it's kind of like at that point I had like an epiphany that is pretty much like the desire to grind a video game. Like the same feeling I get when I want to be like, oh man, I want to hop on PoE 2 and grind out a level and increase that progress, or like hit that big drop or the big craft, right? It's kind of similar to that in that I want to spend time with my significant other and do these cool things because we're not getting younger, right? We're only getting older. These things that you can do together are infinitely more tangible and valuable considering the big picture that if this is someone you're going to spend your entire life with, right? This isn't a live service game that's going to EOS at a certain point and everything you do progress-wise is gone, right? This is your entire life, right? So a core memory unlocked with your significant other will last you your entire life, whereas like getting that additional item drop on PoE 2 for a league, the second you're done with that league, it's gone, right? What's the fucking point? That the like MMO you grind, the second that MMO no longer is your interest or it EOS's, it's done, right? So at a certain point, you understand the reasons and desires to want to grind your relationship, all right? And that's like what clicked for me, and I'm like, okay, you know, so like I get it. This is why like a lot of fobbits will probably have noticed, right? At a certain point, long streams stopped happening as frequently is because I spend a lot more time with Lily, you know? And I like spending that time, right? Before, it was more so like I was spending that time with Lily because I felt like it was like an obligation, right? Because I didn't really understand or fathom how a relationship really worked. So it's like, yeah. And I think that's what that guy's kind of at, where he got married and his like priorities are in a different state. I don't think like what he was saying really has that much to do with video games, to be honest. It's more so other stuff, but yeah. Bro complained about the video guy flexing his wife and now he's here flexing his girlfriend. Bro, that's not the point. My point is more so that like what he might be saying in his video game. I'm trying to explain what his reasoning is, right? I know some people in chat were like, this video is fucking stupid or like shit like that, but like I'm trying to say that I understand where his mental's coming from, you know? Basically, man children get older. Yeah, you know, and I know a lot of people here probably aren't at that point in life either. And this isn't something that I think is only exclusive if you're in a relationship, right? I think it's just something that you realize at a certain point when you start finding out that the value in your life has more to do with than online pixels or progress in a video game, that there should be like progress that you grind out for yourself, right? Whether it's self-improvement, whether it's going to the gym, whether it's dressing better, right? Or, you know, stuff like that, building relationships with, not, it doesn't even have to be a significant other, but just friends and stuff like that. It's like, genuinely, chat, I know it sounds crazy and silly to say, but I think life, you can think of life like a video game. Like, it's basically like a video game in terms of, okay, obviously if you die once, you're dead, right? But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking more about the idea of, I'm talking more about the idea of, like, you can progress your life like a video game. And every step and action you do is like a step towards progressing in that video game. Can I reroll? No. That guy's whole point is just he lost interest in video games. That's it. Don't need to overthink it. You'll experience it in about 5 years. Don't worry. No, I disagree. I don't think his point is he lost interest in video games. I think his point is more that video games for him for a long portion of his life filled a specific role in fulfillment in his life, but he's gotten to a point where that role is filled by other things. So video games don't need to fulfill that as much. So he doesn't really feel like he needs to grind out video games as often. Let's be honest, chat. Most of us grind out video games as much as we do because we might not have the most friends in real life. We might not have the most events that we go out and meet with people and hang out or do karaoke or parties and stuff like that, right? Our reason for playing video games is because it's our way to interact and socialize with other people, right? And like have our own sort of entertainment or fulfillment, right? But as you get older, you replace that with other things. And in that guy's case, he got married. And when you get married and have kids, that is going to be a way bigger focus on your life than playing a video game, right? Like, I bet you for him, getting diamond on Overwatch means a lot fucking less than that beautiful daughter he has running to the door, you know, to say hi to him every morning or something like that, you know? Like, that's what I'm saying, right? At a certain point, the video, no shit, well, I need to explain this because half my fucking chat is like in their early 20s and don't fucking understand that, because at a certain age, you don't fucking fully grasp mentally, like, the weight of certain things, all right? No, we're not. Oh, what? How old are you guys now? All right. Fucking last time I asked, you guys are all fucking like early 20s. Now you're all fucking old gramps? Huh? I'm 29. I'm 45. 15. 12. Don't say you're 12, buddy. You're going to get banned by Twitch. All right. I turn 40 next year. Well, listen, the older Fobbits can probably agree with what I'm saying anyways. You know? I genuinely think there is a point in time, right, where you do start to understand that certain things are, like, I don't know. I always thought whenever my mom would always say, one day you'll mature, right? So in Korean, it's like 철들어, right? That's like the term they use. And I was like, I don't know what the fuck she's talking about, but like, I get it at a certain, you know, it happens at a certain point. Because, I don't know. I think it's like when you start seeing a lot of family members passing away, and you start to think about these things more.